So may I come?
Yes, please come, Kashmira.
Thank you, sir.
Please.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sirs. Thank you.
So, Kashmira, please give your introduction to the panel.
Yes, sir. My name is Dr. Kashmira Sankhe. I'm from Thane district in Maharashtra. I've completed my graduation in Bachelor's of Dental Surgery from Government Dental College and Hospital in Mumbai. My hobbies are learning new languages and about new cultures, and the language that I'm currently pursuing and learning is the Japanese language.
So, Kashmira, when I saw your DAF, you are a BDS.
Yes.
So, instead of continue to be a specialist and in this profession, what I would say advantage you will have in getting into civil services because of your BDS degree?
Yes, sir. Sir, my BDS degree and my exposure to the patients from across socioeconomic strata has given me an insight into the kind of attitudes that people have towards health in general and oral health in particular. Furthermore, through dentistry, I have also earned some values like compassion towards patient that helps me to work for them, and values like compassion, integrity, as well as good communication skills, given that in the dental awareness among people is not as much, and so good communication skills are required to communicate to the patient why he needs a treatment and what kind of treatment he needs. So these are the skills that I can also use in administration.
Very good. So tell me little bit about Maharashtra. Now that summers are coming, we will hear about drought-prone areas and
Yes, sir.
famine and droughts in Vidarbha and Marathwada and all.
Yes, sir.
Now, how do we take care of the state which has so much of regional disparity despite being the most economically strong state?
Yes, sir. So the prime reason why drought affected areas are suffering more is because the drought affected areas are also growing crops that are more water intensive, and this strategy or this cropping pattern rather I would say has led to even more drought like situation, and this has also led to more increase in suicides among the farmers in Vidarbha and Marathwada. So while the western side is economically more developed, the eastern side in that matter is lagging behind because of its reliance on water intensive crops. So what we can promote is more drought prone crops like millets, which are very naturally grown in those soils and can also thrive in those soils. So that is one way in which.
But Kashmira, if you see the statistics of Maharashtra, the whole of state, it's such a big state, only 20% area is irrigated.
Yes, sir.
As against a small state of Punjab, Haryana,
Yes,
doing about 90, 80, it's all in command area. There is no command area.
yes.
So instead of blaming on bad crop mix, why don't we create command areas? Why don't we bring water from somewhere?
Sir, while that strategy is good and we can try to do that, but at the same time, the rivers of peninsular India are also not flowing throughout the river, and the rain that this region gets is also lesser. So while that strategy can be pursued and should be pursued, in the long term strategy, I would say focusing on drought prone crops can also be a good strategy.
You mentioned in your initial statement about how your BDS will help you in administration. So there are, as you mentioned about awareness, lack of awareness.
Yes, sir.
So in India, both literate and illiterate,
Yes.
they are not so aware of the dental health. Now, is it their fault that they are not looking into or maybe contacting or getting into touch with the dental doctors, or is it because there has not been efforts, unlike other more serious diseases which need more awareness?
Yes.
But a time has come where India has advanced so much that even smallest of the things
Yes.
should be brought to the to people and make
Yes.
them aware.
Yes.
What do you have to say?
Sir, I agree with your statement because community health dentistry, while it has a lot of potential of bringing awareness to the people, it has not been able to scale up to that level as of now. So our focus should be on community awareness and teaching them more about brushing techniques and the importance of brushing and keeping a good oral health.
You are in a district which has, you come to know that people are abnormally unwell, because of the dental health.
Yes, sir.
So what are the things that you would look into? What could be the factors why dental health is so bad?
Sir, first of all, I will look into the awareness level and try to bring more awareness with respect to the oral health. Secondly, I will also try to look at their diet patterns. Many times what happens is when we are having more of chips based or packaged based foods or even processed foods, those are the kind of foods that tend to get stuck on your tooth and in the long term cause plaque and dental decay. So these are the mainly two things that I will.
At times, Kashmira, drinking water that they consume,
Yes.
that is responsible in a large number of villages for creating dental problems.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you find one, what would you do?
Sir, like you said, in water there is some quantity of fluoride that is required, but sometimes it may so happen that there may be more fluorine and it can lead to fluorosis. So I will try to look into and measure the level of fluoride that is there in the water.
G20 is a economic platform.
Yes.
But the way health has spoiled the economy of this world is very well known to us.
Yes, sir.
After COVID. So do you think that G20 should also incorporate agenda on health?
Sir, as far as my knowledge goes, there is already some level of health related meetings that have already happened under G20, and even like I had also mentioned earlier about millets, millets have also been given a boost under G20 for their health related benefits.
To Kashmira, I pass on to our member.
Thank you, sir. Kashmira, Maharashtra was, despite being one of the best states in the country in terms of GSDP, etc.,
Yes, sir.
is having serious problem of regional imbalance.
Yes, sir.
So, can you tell me some initiatives taken by government of Maharashtra in the recent past
Yes.
to bridge this regional imbalance?
Sir, it is the Maharashtra state government is already promoting many agricultural related schemes for development of these areas. Secondly, we also have the Mihan SEZ that is giving a boost to Nagpur and its surrounding areas for import and export of its goods. Further, we can also try to improve on the one district, one product scheme. That's, in my opinion, a very good scheme for improving the export. And there was also a Vijay Kelkar committee that had recommended that the finance related portfolio should be given to those candidates who are coming from Vidarbh area, so that they are able to allocate the financial resources in a proper manner.
Now, Kashmira, are you aware of some good news for Indian agriculture? Can you tell me from the budget or some technological advancements or some improvements in fertilizers? What are the good news which will help in increasing farmers' income, productivity, etc.? Can you tell me?
Sir, in this year's budget, a special focus was given to agri startups.
That is one. Tell
Yes.
me a couple of more.
Sir, can I take a few seconds? to
Yeah,
think?
please. Anything on fertilizer front? Any improvement in fertilizer?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect the exact.
Okay, nano fertilizer. Have you heard of nano fertilizer?
Yes, sir, I've heard of them. So they are basically very small and minute levels of fertilizer that can act particularly on those spots or targeted areas, like we have it with respect to nanotechnology.
Now you have done some course in naturopathy.
Yes,
And
sir.
your hobbies or your extracurricular activities, your interest is in yoga and naturopathy.
Yes, sir.
So tell me how naturopathy is different from Ayurveda.
Yes, sir. While Ayurveda focuses more on external agents like herbal agents, naturopathy focuses on the body's natural vitality and immunity. That is the principal difference between the philosophy of Ayurveda and naturopathy.
So naturopathy also makes use of some medicines as Ayurveda does.
No, sir.
So it is a non-medicine like yoga. It is a non-medicine based.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
non-medicine modality.
Now tell me, you are an anthropology student.
Yes, sir.
Is climate change impacting human evolution? If yes, in what way? After say a couple of centuries or maybe some millennia, where this human evolution as a result of the trend of climate change you think would be going?
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to think on this. I would like to think on this for a few
Please,
seconds.
please do so.
Yes.
Please do so.
Thank you, sir.
My question is clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not very much aware because I've not given this thing.
No problem. Just
But as far as my knowledge goes, because of climate change, there can be a reduction in the ozone layer, because of which more UV exposure to the skin can happen. And in the long term, this can lead to some mutations in our skin. That is what I'm able to.
you see, Kashmira, ozone layer, so now there is a reversal. Whatever ozone layer का जो hole वगैरह की बात थी,
Yes, yes, sir.
so because of the corrective actions of different governments,
Yes, sir.
now it is ozone का जो hole वगैरह थे वो तो it is improving.
Yes, sir.
It is happening. This is one example of successful, climate mitigation
Yes, sir.
that we have been able to. Which was a जो Montreal का कब हुआ था आपका? We had this Montreal protocol. So after that, we have taken a lot of steps, and now ozone problem is solved to a large extent.
Yes.
Anyway, so tell me how your knowledge of anthropology. This is my last question. How your knowledge of anthropology, because it was your optional, would help you in becoming a good civil servant? In what way you think you will be a better administrator with your background in anthropology?
Yes, sir. Sir, anthropology has imbibed in me a very important value which is also at the core of anthropology, and that is of cultural relativism. So, because of cultural relativism as well as holism, I would be able to think from the perspective of the different communities and their problems from their perspective. And with holism, I can look into the overall and the overall development of the district in a holistic manner from all the sides.
Thank you, Kashmira.
Thank you, sir.
Kashmira, earlier you were telling
Yes,
or
sir.
you were relating two things. You're telling that the crops, the water guzzling crops
Yes,
in
sir.
Marathwada and Vidarbha,
Yes, sir.
they are responsible for the drought situation.
Yes, sir.
But in as far as I know, the drought in Marathwada and Vidarbha is due to its geographical features.
Yes,
That
sir.
is a rain shadow area.
Yes, sir.
The monsoon strikes there, and then because it is a rain shadow area, so the monsoon decreases over there. That's why you get drought. That is,
Yes, sir.
and a monsoon is dependent on El Nino effect. If El Nino is there, then there's less rain, then drought.
Yes.
Now, how you can relate the water guzzling crops to the drought of the Vidarbha and Marathwada? How?
Sir, droughts is a very it's a concept that is multidimensional, and like you mentioned, it can be because of meteorological reasons, but it can also be because of the soil hydrology or how much moisture is present in the soil. So, because of it being a multidimensional concept, there are many factors that are affecting
So,
droughts.
suppose if there is more moisture in the soil, then
Yes,
what
sir.
will happen?
Sir, if there is more moisture, then drought related to the hydrological factors will not be there. Although if it is lying in the rain shadow region, then there would be astronomical.
Not astronomical. If it is in a rain shadow, if there are rains, then there is no drought. Isn't that?
So that is not true. It's actually also that if water conservation structures are absent, then even if there is rainfall and we are not able to conserve that water in a way that is desirable, then it can also lead to drought-like conditions after a.
So you want to say that besides rain is not only sufficient, the rain has to be in the soil itself. I mean, the water has to be in the soil itself.
Yes, sir.
It has to retain there.
Yes, sir.
Water has to retain there, soil moisture has to be there, and then That's why then it will give a productive crop or something like
Yes, sir.
that. Good. Now tell me, Kashmira, you are from Maharashtra.
Yes, sir.
This Maharashtra and Gujarat, they are very quite developed states.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, we have very undeveloped, poorly developed state like Bihar, Odisha, is it Jharkhand?
Yes, sir.
Why it is so? Because all these states were formed more or less the same time, more or less.
Yes,
but
sir.
Why these two states are far more developed than the other states in Eastern India? Why Eastern India is not developed? What could be the reasons?
Sir, there can be a multitude of reasons. One could be that historically, even during British times, there were more ports and more textile-based industries in the western parts, especially Maharashtra and Gujarat. Even geographically, if we see that because there is easy access to ports, that is also one of the reasons why they are able to bring in more FDI and also export in large numbers.
But Kashmira in Jharkhand, there are huge number of minerals.
Yes, sir.
Lot of minerals are there. Alluvial land is there. Alluvial soil is there. Good crops are there. In a year, you can raise 3 crops. So then, still they are very poor.
Sir, while crop diversity and productivity is very rich in the alluvial belt, but there also needs to be more diversification of the economy. That could be a reason why there is disparity between the
Okay.
states.
Kashmira, what would be, in your opinion, what would be various components of an ideal tribal village? If I say that you please make a tribal village, an ideal tribal village, what would be the component of an ideal tribal village? What will be there?
Sir, for me, an ideal tribal village would be one that is living in consonance or in harmony with the nature, and at the same time, it has good health outcomes and good educational outcomes that are relevant for their living and their livelihood.
That is a general answer. What type of things you would like to put in there?
Sir, I will try to focus on, like I said, tribal health, but also on tribal education and skill development so that their traditional tribal arts and culture is preserved and also exported.
Communication?
Sir, could you please elaborate?
Communication to the village, the road or rail or something like that, that is not required?
Yes, sir, it is required, but I will also ensure that there is a balance between their forests, and because they are relying on minor forest producers, but also on infrastructure.
Okay, thank you, Kashmira.
Thank you, sir.
So, Kashmira, you are interested in languages and culture.
Yes, sir.
Can you compare Japanese culture with Indian culture?
Yes, sir. Sir, while Japanese and Indian culture do have many similarities, there are also certain differences. With respect to similarities, we can say that the respect that they give to elders and the general bowing stance that the Japanese have is also common in India. We also honor our elders and our ancestors the way Japanese also do. With respect to difference, I would say that work culture in Japan is more disciplined and more towards punctuality, and they also have a good sense of cleanliness and cleaning behavior, as was evident during the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, when the Japanese fans, after each match, they were cleaning the stadiums.
So, in work culture, do you
Yes,
find any difference between Japanese work culture and work culture in India? Do they like to work individually or in groups? They are more comfortable with their own people?
Sir, in India, we have a group-based culture where we are comfortably able to collaborate and work with each other. In Japan, however, this is not to that extent that is there in India.
Kashmira, you practice naturopathy.
Yes.
One of my friends went to this clinic, naturopathic clinic, for weight reduction.
Yes, sir.
He lost weight after 10-15 days of continuous non-eating. So they were providing minuscule amount of, and after some time he put on the weight again. So naturopathy, do you think is a permanent solution?
Sir, naturopathy gives you an insight into what kind of good way of life you can have. But it is up to us to even persistently continue with that effort. So if we continue with the diet that is prescribed by a naturopath, we can surely maintain our health to
But
the levels.
the diet which he told me, few dates and maybe one apple or something, that is for lunch. So this kind of diet is all right for weight reduction for a period of time. But do you think in the long run this kind of treatment helps?
Uh,
It may be counterproductive also for the body.
Yes, sir. Sir, it can be counterproductive if we do not have a balanced diet. But in naturopathy also, we ensure that there is balanced and good proportions of even carbohydrates, fats.
Okay,
proteins.
Kashmira, can you compare your profession
Yes.
with Vishwakarma? You have heard of Vishwakarma
Um,
from mythology?
no, sir. I mean,
Mahabharat, you remember Mahabharat?
Sir,
The person who built Indraprasth? All right, we skip the question if you don't recall. I wanted you
Sorry,
to
sir.
compare your skills with his skills.
Sir, I will definitely look into it.
Do
Yes.
look into it. Kashmira, tell me about global economic outlook in the face of Russia-Ukraine war and why India is seen to be doing better.
Sir, the global economic outlook with respect to Russia-Ukraine war has impacted mainly the oil exports as well as the food-related exports, especially wheat. Plus, there has also been a lack of export of many raw materials like neon from Ukraine and Russia. India has fared better in this situation because India has had historically good ties with Russia, and India, through its diplomatic outreach and prowess, was able to still import oil from Russia even in the tough times. Secondly, when countries like Egypt, which depend a lot on wheat, were in wheat scarcity because of the war, India was able to export wheat to these countries, and these could be some of the reasons why India fared better.
I think our own handling of situation, especially the inflation, was also responsible for a better economic outlook for India.
Yes, sir. Sir, while in the past few quarters, the inflation was going outside the inflation target that has been stipulated for us, but in the recent past few months, I think we were able to rein that in as well.
One last question I want to ask you is: should India invite Mr. Zelensky for G20 meet as requested by their minister?
Sir, G20 is a meeting that is focusing on various aspects and not just global geopolitical issues. So, we are focusing on health, focusing on finance, focusing on green energy. And so, for these reasons, G20 is a platform for convergence of interest. For this reason, I would say that yes, Mr. Zelensky should be invited.
Should be invited.
Yes.
Who all will be there facing Mr. Zelensky in G20 meet?
I'm sorry, sir, I could not get the question.
Who all will be there? Which countries will be there? Do you think it will be diplomatically a correct move?
Sir, Russia will also be there in G20.
Anyway, think about it.
Yes, sir, I'll think about it. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Aadhaar has helped the financial sector too much. In the sense, it has helped to bring operational efficiency and reduce cost.
Yes, sir.
Our finance minister highlighted something. How Aadhaar has helped.
Sir, Aadhaar has helped to plug the leakages in many schemes by identifying the target beneficiaries in a proper manner.
Talking about financial sector,
Sir, Aadhaar enabled payment schemes has helped a lot in enabling the or making electronic payments more easily possible.
What about reducing cost for granting loan, KYC? There was something in news which finance minister highlighted.
I'm sorry, sir, I could not read that news.
World Happiness Report ranks India in 125, puts
Yes.
India in 125. Are we really unhappy people, or is it some kind of a Western advertisement or West agenda to show India in poor light?
Sir, happiness as a concept is very subjective, and it is also very multidimensional.
So therefore,
So-
you are saying the report is not good.
No, sir. While in some respects, with respect to the indicators that they may have used, it may be correct, but in my opinion, it can be more holistic.
But it is a report where Pakistan has been placed on a higher rank. Even Nepal,
Yes.
Sri Lanka, which is under economic crisis, is doing
Yes,
well
sir.
in that report. What are the parameters they have analyzed? There are certain parameter
Yes,
basis
sir.
which this report is.
Yes, sir.
Is it a objective one or what?
Sir, I've not read about the exact parameters, but I would say again that health is a very subjective concept. So measuring health in that way.
I'm talking about happiness report.
Yes,
Happiness.
sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Happiness is a subjective concept, and measuring happiness in that way is very difficult to do.
Maharashtra governor the functioning came under Supreme Court observation. Some adverse remarks were made by Supreme Court. Are you aware about in what context it was made and what was the observation?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware about this development.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, Kashmira, anything from your DAF which we may not have covered and left out? I can ask one last question if you think that something has not been covered.
Yes, sir. Sir, you can ask me from my hobbies itself.
Hobby, there are many hobbies. Just select one, any one you want.
Sir, reading books is a hobby that.
Reading non-fiction books.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the kind of books that you generally prefer to read?
Sir, I don't have a particular preference, but in recent times I have tended to move more towards self-improvement books. Yes, sir.
What is the last that you read and got influenced?
It was the Atomic Habits by James Clear that I read.
So, could you bring in some small habits and improve yourself?
Yes, sir. Sir, with respect to the Japanese learning habit, it was actually the outcome of this book. I was able to consistently pursue it after reading this book.
So, how this takeaway from the book reading, Atomic Habits, will it benefit your being a good civil servant?
Yes, sir. Sir, the very important crux of this book is that don't get overwhelmed by a large target or a large goal. Rather, break it into smaller achievable goals. And with that, when you're able to reach each milestone, eventually you will be also able to perform the large goal as well. So in administration, when schemes are to be implemented in such a large number, it would be beneficial for me if I look at it in milestone format.
So, thank you, Kashmira. We close our interview now.
Yes, sir.
We'll ask you to be in the waiting room for some time
Yes.
and we'll call again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Done them,
Very
but
good.
there is still a lot of room for improvement.
Very nice. So, when you say last performance, what do you mean? The last few mock interviews or the last UPSC interview?
No, sir. The last few.
Oh, and this is your first UPSC interview?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So, Kashmira, you're doing pretty well for the first round, and maybe you come to know about your skills, in these personality tests once you go through it.
Yes.
So, you have got a great opportunity. The third attempt you are doing. So, did you clear mains earlier also? No, you
No, sir.
cleared. Okay, but you appeared in mains.
No, sir. This was the first time I
Prelims,
appeared.
two prelims and then straight mains.
Yes.
Very good. So Kashmira, you were good, very good, and very alive, energized, uh, reasonably good in knowledge, as on today, and good in your subjects, and there's always a scope for improvement. Need to bring some more depth and structured answers.
Yes.
It was from narrative form to a more structured form would be, would do you good, further good. But in terms of content and all, you were very good. Your energy level, your communication, your confidence, everything was good. Just that a little bit of content on the subjects that we addressed, whether it is Maharashtra, whether it is your BDS and everything. So on the whole, it was good. Let's hear other members also.
Kashmira, same here. Your strongest point, which I like most, was your energy level. You were all through 25 minutes. You were full of energy. You were very lively, very, I would say, very much engaged with the board. So that was your very strong point. And of course, knowledge was also okay, good. I think just whatever gaps were there, particularly with regard to nano fertilizers वगैरह जो पूछा था उसका देख लीजिएगा. There are new developments in agriculture and और anthropology is your optional. थोड़ा सा उसमें भी क्या नई टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं क्या उसको देख लीजिएगा. ठीक है. Particularly what are scientific evidences which show that human beings are still evolving, currently evolving.
Yes.
How climate change is impacting human evolution. ठीक है.
Yes.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Kashmira, you are a very good, very good candidate. You have tackled all the questions very nicely. You have answered very well. Controlled, balanced, to the point. All good. So just till your interview, keep on reading the things, current affairs, etc. Current affairs, you may be fielded a lot of questions on current affairs. So otherwise, in your other things, you are perfectly okay. Very good person. All the best.
So Kashmira, very good energy level. I liked interacting with you. Just two suggestions. Vishkarma, usko dekh lo.
Yes.
Or Zelensky. If you take the stand, you may have to face lot of counter questions.
Yes.
So read up again on this entire issue as to why you should invite or should not invite him. All right. So this is very ticklish. Strictly speaking, he should not be invited in a forum like this, because if there is no unanimity, then again India will have to lose the face. All right. So usko dekh lena. Rest all, just keep it up. You are doing very well.
कश्मीरा, बहुत आपने काफ़ी आंसर्स काफ़ी अच्छे दिए. हालांकि मेरे तीनों सवालों के आप कुछ ज़्यादा जवाब नहीं दिया. दैट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. KYC ये कहता है, फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने ये कहा है 3 रुपये ले आए KYC कॉस्ट फ्रॉम 700. लोन प्रोसेसिंग कॉस्ट हैज़ बीन कट डाउन बाई 75%. उंगली से हो जाता है वेरिफिकेशन सारा. तो ये अच्छा न्यूज़ था कि भाई 3 रुपये कहाँ, 700 रुपये कहाँ. और दूसरा, वर्ल्ड हैप्पीनेस में कुछ पैरामीटर हैं जिसके बेसिस पे उन्होंने क्यों फिनलैंड को 1 डाला है या उसको उधर डाला है. कुछ पैरामीटर पे ही उन्होंने एनालाइज किया है. तो वो क्या पैरामीटर हैं जिसके आधार पे उन्होंने एनालाइज किया, क्यों हमें 125 तो बहुत है, 35 में 25, 125वां डाला है. और महाराष्ट्र गवर्नर्स रोल वाज, देयर वाज सम एडवर्स ऑब्जर्वेशन वाज मेड बाय सुप्रीम कोर्ट. गवर्नर बाय देयर ऑफिस शुड नॉट ब्रिंग इंस्टेबिलिटी. तो ऐसा कुछ कहा था, वो एक बार देख लीजिए.
Yes, sir.
ऑल द बेस्ट. डू.
Thank you, sir.
So Kashmira, what would be your attire on the interview day?
So I will be wearing a sari.
Yeah.
Oh,
So Kashmira, we have given you 67%. So you're actually progressing very well. 184 marks. So, and whatever we have told you now is basically to improve you further, to get more marks than what you deserve. So, any questions from your side?
Sir, you had mentioned in your feedback that I should structure and give more framework. Can you please help me more with that? How I can do?
For example, I asked you about the civil service. You mentioned about that I will use your, my dental health background and start helping them and all. Now, first is that your civil services thing should be very structured with 3 or 4 points. You should start with the positives of civil services. You started, although my question was also like in the same fashion, that how your dental health, this thing will help you there. Now, but what you resorted to was, in promoting yourself, in projecting your qualification and projecting. Now, you could have been more, I would say, more honest about it, that, when I serve in the districts, there may be, people with dental health, so that I can, use my knowledge to. So what you actually did was you projected your qualities, just as if you're marketing yourself. That is not the correct thing. Now, coming to the structured part and come out with the, civil services thing. Start with the civil services, will give me diverse opportunities and challenges. And if I get such opportunity where I can use my background knowledge, like in rural areas or maybe other areas, on health as a whole and dental health in particular. So don't consider yourself as a dental health specialist. You're a health specialist. तो तुम हेल्थ सेक्टर को कवर करोगी ना, सब कुछ. यू हैव दैट. शुरू के सालों में आपको हेल्थ की सभी चीजें पढ़ाते हैं ना, तो वो तो आपने पढ़ा ही है. तो यू आर बेसिकली यू कैन केटर टू द हेल्थ सेक्टर एज अ होल, नॉट केवल दांतों के लिए नहीं है. यू हैव दैट बैकग्राउंड ऑफ looking after the health, so you can encash on that particular thing. Now, when I say structured, it means that when you are mentioning any particular answer, you must be more structured. Like in this instance, I will give you an example. I'm not able to. Suppose in rural villages, I said ki the water problem you may have. Sir, in that particular case, what I would do is, number one, I would see the actual dental health problem of that the people there and identify what exactly are they facing. If they are facing this problem because of fluorosis, then I will take the following actions. Number one, I will make alternative arrangements for water. The first thing, Number two, I will find ways how to treat the water. Thirdly, I will advise them how to. Fourthly, I will even supply them some kind of purifiers, and maybe install community purifiers by which now you have the whole world before you. तुमसे कोई पैसे की थोड़ी ना कोई बात कह रहा है कि नहीं इतना ही पैसा है, इतना ही कर सकते हैं. That should not come. You be out of the box जैसे होता है ना, आइडियाज निकाल के लाइए. And sir, I will take up with the state government to. अभी डिस्ट्रिक्ट का नाम तो पता नहीं है आपको क्या पता नदी है कि नहीं है. सर, फ्रॉम द नियरेस्ट रिवर I will try to get some kind of facility to get drinking water from the nearest source, whether it is a pond, whether it is a lake, whether it is a river.
Yes.
आप समझे? और वो भी जब आप कहो तो नैरेटिव रूप में ना कह के स्ट्रक्चर्ड रूप में कहो. सेम आई कैन मेंशन अबाउट योर महाराष्ट्र का ड्राउट का अपने, कि अगर ड्राउट है, सो फॉलोइंग एक्शंस महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट कैन टेक. नंबर वन, सर, they should again the same thing, they should try to bring some water source into Marathwada and Vidarbha region. अब उसकी प्रॉब्लम्स आपकी थोड़ी ना, ये आप मुख्यमंत्री थोड़ी ना हो. आपको तो बस एक सोच बतानी है कि ये करना चाहिए. Is it not? This is what I meant by it. Okay. Anything else?
Yes.
So, Kashmira, you have done very well, and you will certainly do even better than what you did today.
Yes.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you.